Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Hey, how different has it been kind of around the complex and at practices, just not having less around the past few days?
Well, you know, going through the pandemic in the off season, it's amazing how much we were able to get done through Zoom and with other technology. And so Les has been able to come to the staff meetings and run the staff meetings through Zoom and be in contact with the staff and watch video and be involved in meetings. So it's not as odd as you would think because of the technology that we've been able to use during the pandemic. And he's been able to do that throughout this week as well. We've had one practice without him, and that was different, not having Coach Miles there. But everybody recognizes that we have to do what we can to prepare ourselves for West Virginia, and everybody's moving forward.
Hey, looking at the defense, 3 games into the season, how would you kind of evaluate the progress and kind of where do you guys need to go from here?
Well, fortunately, we've had a lot of young players play. We've had Karan Prutney, we've had Deuce Mayberry, Dejon Terry, Marcus Harris, Jeremy Robinson, just to name a few freshmen that have got a chance to play. And their development, I think, is good. They're coming along, and they're all going to have bright futures here. We were able to keep our first 2 opponents to low yardage, and then unfortunately against Oklahoma State, we weren't able to do that. And so we need to get back on track and try to continue to force guys into third down situations and play good on first and second down so that we can be in manageable third downs. And that's the plan this week.
Yeah, this is more of a question of procedure than anything else, but if Coach Miles weren't able to make the trip to West Virginia, who is he designated as kind of that main guy to stand in his place?
He hasn't. He's planning on being there on Saturday, and so we're just preparing like he's going to be.
Do you have an idea of who it would be, though, if there were a future scenario where he weren't able to make it to a game?
I do not. That's up to Coach Miles.
Hey, DJ, you mentioned the young guys, obviously thrown right in there right away and playing a lot. How do you kind of walk that line with them of keeping their confidence up when the results aren't maybe as good as they want or you want?
Fortunately for us, our players have stayed positive and have come to practice every day with the right mentality, and they're bought into what we're doing, and they're taking the approach that, hey, any mistake that I make, I'm not going to make again. And they have a lot of confidence, and I'm very excited to watch them play this week because I think that any mistake that they made last week, they learned from.
Hey, what are the most important things that Les Miles brings to the room on a game day? And just basically being on the sideline, what are the most important things that he brings to the table for you guys?
Coach Miles has tremendous poise. Coach Miles has never rattled. And so having Coach Miles with us has his experience and his wisdom and his poise. And I think the players see that and the coaches see that, and we feed off on that week to week.
What can you tell us about Nick Channel?
So Nick Channel didn't know he was starting until 5 minutes before the game. And with that said, he played 92 snaps, one of the most highest snaps I've ever had a player play in my 20-year coaching career. And in those 92 snaps for a walk-on freshman, I thought he did an excellent job. Nick Channel played hard. Nick Channel gave us everything he had. And that's an example of a Jayhawk that's given us everything he's got for the team.
What would you tell us about his personality? What's he like off the field?
Very serious. Nick Channel is studying to be a doctor, so he's a pre-med major, and he's very cerebral. But with that, when he steps onto the field, he's pretty physical too. He's one of our more physical players. He picks the scheme up fast, and when he gets there, he'll hit you.
Did what Nick did in that game against Oklahoma State, does that kind of set him up to play a more prominent role moving forward?
I hope so. I would like to have as much depth as we can on defense. I don't want anybody playing 92 snaps. I'd like to be able to rotate more guys in there and be able to keep guys fresh and keep guys playing at their highest level.
DJ, you guys got some young linebackers that you brought in, Barry Hill, Person, Brown. Just can you talk about what their development looked like early on?
All those guys have great talent, and all those guys intelligence and great character, which is the foundation that Coach Miles is building for the future. All our young players have bright futures here, and it's because of those characteristics, and those three fit that mold. Those guys have a skill set that's going to help them be successful, and week to week, we're preparing them as if they're going to play, and if we need them, we're going to call on them.
Hey, could you give us a little bit of an update on Drew Prox? What was that kind of the reason that Nick got the surprise start, was that you were hoping Drew could play and then he wasn't able to?
Unfortunately, I can't comment with today's era on health of our student athletes, but Nick's number was called, and Nick responded, and we're very pleased about that.
Is Drew back practicing now?
Drew is back practicing, and we're planning on playing him on Saturday.
I know it's only been a few games, but I guess what have you seen from Corian Harris since his return from suspension?
Corian has great skills. Corian can cover. Corian is a good tackler. Corian missed so many days, and we're working as hard and as fast as we can to catch him up and to get him ready to play. And I hope to see him on the field more often. Every day is a growing process for him. And, he's had the right attitude and the right approach, and I look forward to him playing in the future.
How have you seen the players kind of react to Les's diagnosis and COVID?
Well, Coach Miles is so popular amongst the players. He's truly a player's coach. So it has kind of motivated them to make sure that while he's away, that they stay the course and that they continue to work and prepare for West Virginia. I think Thursday we had an excellent practice, and I'm not so sure some of that wasn't motivated by Coach Miles not being there. And I think we'll continue to have that type of approach this week, and our guys will be ready to play on Saturday against West Virginia.
Anything else for Coach Eliot?
Yep. Hey, what can you tell us about Dejon Terry and kind of how he's developing as a player? And just, I guess it seems like it's probably a pretty challenging position to play for a younger guy.
Well, not only is it challenging for a younger guy, but what you may not know about Dejon Terry, he only played 1 year of high school football. Dejon Terry was a high school basketball player until his senior year, and his senior year he decided to play football. So Dejon Terry has only played 2 years of football in his entire life. And with that, we've seen huge growth, and we think he's got a very bright future, and I think his career here is going to be very good. He's improved tremendously from last year to this year. Every week he gets better. He's a guy that's, a 300-pounder that can move, and he's physical. And I think that that you're going to see some great things from him, not only this year, but in the future.
Real quick, what's your biggest emphasis with this defense? 3 games in, you want to take that next step with this group as a whole. What are you emphasizing right now?
Well, we've had our opportunities for some takeaways, and we haven't finished. So we need to finish. We've dropped 3 interceptions this season, and we've had 3 forced fumbles that we didn't recover. So we need to finish at the takeaway part of the game. I think that fortunately, we've been able to play a lot of guys in different spots, and so we're developing some depth at these positions. So hopefully we can get the play count down by each player, and we can get some fresh guys out there that can play hard and play aggressive. What
do you do to fix that takeaway thing? I mean, is it just reps? Is it just mindset? Is it all of that? Well,
we've been emphasizing, we had 13 dropped interceptions last year. I think if they would have kept stat on that, we would have led the country in dropped interceptions, and that's unfortunate. So throughout training camp and throughout this fall practice, we do ball drills with our defensive backs and our linebackers on a daily basis. One thing that we've done to try to help improve it is, instead of having the coaches throw the balls, we've transitioned to the jugs. Maybe as coaches, we're not as good as quarterbacks as we think we are, but we've transitioned those defensive backs and the linebackers into catching the balls off the jugs. And so we've worked on that all week, and hopefully it makes a difference on Saturday.
All right, that's all we have time for Coach Eliot, so we'll get Coach Dearman in here in a minute.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.